Hey, Shalom Markins, Rakam Akapash from Jim and Son, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chachadash. I want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hope for it, pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video, another lesson. And I'm going to entitle this one, A Man That Cannot Be Humble Will Not Be Acknowledged by the Lord. Right? Humility is an important part of this faith, this ministry. And, we got plenty of examples, amongst these different camps, how not to be, right? And even though they think of themselves to be great men, they're now leaders of their own congregations or whatever, that, needs to name any names, they believe that the Most High is working with them, but the characteristics that they exude or they show or portray are ones not of humility, right? And although the Most High might have you in like an elevated position at this moment in time, it's only a matter of time before the Most High brings you down, right? Because that is the effect of pride, right? And the Lord doth resist the proud, right? The Most High likes humility. He likes those that can be humble, right? And we're just going to go through some of that here in this lesson. Okay, and starting off in Romans 12 verse 3, I've got a bunch of scriptures here. They're not in any particular order. I was just going through them in my mind and just saving them here. So, Romans 12 verse 3 says, "For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith." Right, so we're meant to be sober and really take a step back and really look at ourselves, man, and understand that we're cogs in the wheel, right? We're here as part of the machinations on the right hand side of the Lord to do His work, right? We're all just cogs, right? Now you might feel like you should be more respected than other people that is doing this work because of something like the what scriptures you've memorized, or whatever the case may be, whatever makes you feel like you somehow superior to other people around you, or whatever the case may be, right? And you feel like you deserve a title or a rank or or something, a fucking medal. Fucking get this guy a medal. But we're just cogs in the wheel, man. We're here to do the same job as everybody else. Now, yes, there is rank, and yes, there is men that have been working more than others, men that have been in this longer than others, and we have to respect those that came before us, man. Those that have put in the work, right, above us, i.e., elders. But everybody seems to want to become an elder, and they want to fast track themselves into being such. Okay, that's not how things work. These are not titles and things we place upon ourselves. Okay, it just happens out of circumstance, right? And you are given rank. You are given, specific roles in the body to fulfill. As these ranks are just levels of servitude that is required, or to perform in the body, right? These are not things. Rank is not a thing where you elevate yourself above others and basically to lord it over others, this rank and title. No, you're here to do a greater service, right? To perform a greater service for those around you, for those in this body, right? A greater responsibility, right? It's not for our own egos. And a lot of the time, great men that have these, in the scriptures, that have been given these ranks and positions, were not those who were chasing after it, that expected it, that believed that they deserved it. They were chosen and put up on that level to receive these things because of other characteristics that they had, i.e., one of them being humility. And like I said, this is important. If you really want to be exalted and be recognized by the Lord, you have to be humble, right? That is important, right? And a lot of people forget that because they got their own egos and their pride that they're battling with, and they feel that they need to be recognized and noticed. A lot like Cain. You know, he feel like he should be respected. He feel like he should be recognized for what he was doing, but you weren't doing it right. And that's what it boils down to. You're not doing things the way you're supposed to do them. All right. So yeah, we need to not think of ourselves more highly than we should do. And so we're just cogging the wheel, man. And you know, if the Lord decides that He wants to give you greater responsibility, and you receive a rank to show that, right? Then you have to live up to that responsibility. It's not, you know, it's not just something. It's not a light thing. You know, just to make you feel good, make yourself feel good about yourself. Oh yeah, I'm a super high priest now. Self-titled. Yeah, and all these different things, right? These, you know, like I said, man, they're really irrelevant, right? It's just there out of circumstance. And like I said, it's an office that you need to serve now with full sincerity and faith, right? And humility, right? And 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 49 says it here. Let me read verse 48. It says, "In this also that are marvelous before the Most High, that in that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous," right? And this is speaking of Ezra's, right? He's, you know, receiving all these visions and that. But even though the Lord was showing him all these great things, Ezra was not taking all that stuff for granted, like he was a man of the Lord, that he was going to be saved. You know, he still had that humble spirit, but like, shit, man, I hope I'm right. I'm hoping, you know, and the Lord's trying to, you know, affirm to him that, no, you're good, you know, because even the way you're acting is a demonstration of that. And what did you pick out? The fact that he was humble, you know, and so that impresses the Lord, you know, being humble, you know, and accepting His word, that impresses the Lord, that pleases the Lord. You know, even though, like I said, Ezra was a righteous man, and he's a great man, a prophet of the Lord, and even at that level, Ezra was still humble, even though the Lord was dealing with him. You know, sending him visions and angels and all kinds of stuff, right? So, you know, it's important to remain humble because that's what truly pleases the Lord. You know, faith and humility. All right. This is Sirach chapter 3, verse 18. It says, "The greater thou art, the more humble thyself." Right. So like I said, you receive rank and status or whatever. Right. It's not, like I mentioned, it's not something that we or should be like coveting. Like you wanting that position so bad because you want to be head honcho. Right. If you're coveting after it, you want that position, then it's probably a bad sign. It's probably a bad sign, man. You know, because you're becoming covetous, right? And that is not, you know, a trait you want to kind of fall into, right? Because you're eyeing up other brothers' positions and stuff like that, and hoping to inflate your own ego. But yeah, if you ever, you know, if we get ranks and, you know, all these kinds of things here, then become more humble, because the Most High have given you it, right? And so you have to serve that role properly and with respect, right? It's not, like I said, these are not throwaway things. If you're given a rank, it's not just so you can call yourself a chief elder, high priest, right? All this stuff. It's not just for that. You know, there's a purpose you need to serve now, right? As a you know, you have to play your part now in the body on this level, right? So again, so the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. Right? Many are in a higher place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. Right? So you know, you put yourself in these high positions now, and you know your ego is inflated because, you know, you're you know, you can see yourself this and that. Then the Most High is not really dealing with you. The mysteries are going to be revealed to those that are humble. Right, here at GMS, we don't really care about all these ranks and titles and shit. You know, it's all irrelevant to us, really. You know, we're going to receive our ranks and titles when Yahweh Shai returns. You know, so what happens if you get downgraded? You know, maybe you're no longer the uber elite high priest, general, you know, I'm trying to think of some more titles. Maybe you're not going to be all of that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're not going to have those types of titles. So what's the point? You know? Yeah, man, just stay humble, man, and deal with your lot. Deal with it humbly, man. Just do the work. Just do fucking work, man. You know? The power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. Right? Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. Right? Not everyone's gonna be on the same level. You know, and it's just the lots, isn't it? The lots that have been handed out. Okay, the talents that have been handed out. You should deal with whatever level you're on, and don't pay too much mind about others around you and this person's position, and you feel like, well, this brother is not he's not as deep as this, and I should be in this position, and you know, or the elders are old, and you know, maybe they need to step down. All these things you've heard over the years, you know, it's just pride, and like I said, you're coveting positions and whatever. But why? To what end? Are you not? You know, are you gonna take the burden? These men ain't taking no burden, man. They're doing what the fuck they want to do for their own gain. In Luke chapter 14 verse 7 says, and he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, and he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, let a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. Right? So you're going to receive these positions from other men of, you know, reputation. Right? Don't put yourself, don't, you know, rank yourself essentially. Don't value yourself and put yourself in a position when you're not being affirmed that or confirmed by somebody else that you're that. You know, like I said, people just giving themselves titles and ranks and just, you know, putting themselves at the top of the food chain. Like, how? What did you do? Who gave you that position? Well, how did you earn that? Right? So you don't just assume that, you know, I'm going to sit at the top table with everybody else when you're not already a top don like that. You know what I'm saying? Right? Don't just assume that. You know, no one's reaffirmed that to you at any point. You just done it yourself. Right? Verse 9, he that bade thee and come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. Right? So you told like, oh, get out, go downstairs. This man is more worthy than you. Right? Because someone else deemed him more worthy than you. Right? You're going to get upset. You're going to be embarrassed. Right? And that's what ultimately is going to happen to a lot of these cats in these different camps. They're going to be embarrassed because they've set themselves on this fucking pedestal. And really, they're not that guy. You know? And they're going to be taking down a few fucking pegs. Right? And they're going to feel ashamed. Right? That's how it always is. Right? So if you don't put yourself in that position, you don't inflate your own ego, your own worth and own value, then that can't happen to you. You know? Because you've remained humble the whole time. You know? So reading on, it goes on to say, verse 10, but when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, right? Because you're being humble. You're just like, oh, you know, I'm here. You know, I ain't no one special. I'm just going to sit down here. You know? That when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Like, what you doing here? Like, come on, man, you belong with us. You know? Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee, because you're going to be acknowledged and recognized by other men of that stature, of that ilk. You know, and this is all me referencing Yahweh Shai. Okay, everyone's going to be recognized for their worth and their part in this truth when Yahweh Shai comes and confirms or affirms your place in this thing. We're not even made it to the end yet, and man are acting like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a given for them. because they gave this grand title. That's not how it's gonna work. You know, you have to prove yourself, man, and you're not gonna know your worth or your value until you've endured until the end, and the Yahweh Shai comes and put a crown on your head and tells you, man, look, you done well. You know, that's the only time we're gonna know for sure. And this is why we always say we're of the hopeful elect, because we're in it, right? To believe that we're part of the salvation, but we won't know until the end. So we all live in hope. So we can't get too big for our boots, right? We have to acknowledge that, look, man, until we get to the end, okay, we ain't worth shit, because it may be, God forbid, that we falter at the end. Maybe the Lord didn't choose us, and therefore everything that we've labeled ourselves and it's fucking stupid. It's embarrassing. Like, you've acted like you were such a great man and you ended up being nothing, man. That's embarrassing, right? So let's forget that shit. Right? Like I said, all these ranks are out of circumstance to serve a purpose in the body, to watch over others, right? So it's a role and responsibility that you are supposed to perform in truth and sincerity, knowing that the Lord is watching you, man. Don't abuse your shit. Don't abuse your power or influence that you have because you're in these positions. Don't do that, right? You deal with brothers correctly, righteously, right? Because the Lord is watching. Okay? So anyway, it says, so read verse 10 again. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. For whosoever exalteth himself, right, you exalt yourself, right, shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Right? And that is what we hope to happen to us. Being humble, we hope to be exalted. But we can't exalt ourselves. This is the point, right? It's Numbers 12, verse 3, just the point, right? It says, now the man Moses was very meek. Okay, the first king of Israel, who was also King David, okay, was very meek, right, above all men which were upon the face of the earth. Okay, that is a characteristic that is, again, the Most High delights in, being meek, right? And I say he chose meek men to play these roles, to be rulers and so on and so forth, right? The righteous ones, anyhow, right? Obviously the wicked ones were full of pride and ego, right? So we need to, like I said, to stay away from pride and ego, because they're very fucking dangerous, because you become self-serving, and not serving Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? But yeah, Moses was a very, very meek man above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And we need to be in that same, mindset. Just like Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was a meek man. I'm pretty sure I got that here somewhere. Yeah. Matthew 21 verse 5 says, tell you the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt, the foal of an ass, right? So here's the King of the Kings and Lord of the Lords, right? And he ain't giving it all the big one. He ain't parading himself around. He ain't getting people to buy like costly garments for him, and throw on that red carpet in front of him, and do the whole Xerxes thing, and walk on their backs and shit. Like he wasn't trying to do all of that, right? He wasn't even declaring himself king, because it wasn't the time. He came to be meek as a lamb, right, for it to be sacrificed. So it wasn't time for all of that. The Lord came meek, even though he was King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and he had the power to destroy anything he wanted to. Any enemy that was against him, he could destroy it, But the Lord didn't come to do all that. All right? this is Matthew 11 verse 29 as well, right? It says, verse 28 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Right? So the Lord came meek. Right? Like I say, he wasn't giving it all the big one. This is from Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. Right? It says, "Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men." Right? So this is basically Moses organizing men to, basically what I was explaining a minute ago, man, to serve offices, right? To do service to the people. Okay? And so we just established that Moses was a meek man himself, right? And it reads here in verse 21, "Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people, children of Israel, able men, such as fear God." Right? These are prerequisites of being in these positions, or being a good leader, and so on and so forth, right? "Such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness." Why is that important? Because a lot of people was seeking Moses' seat, just like the scribes and Pharisees ended up in the time of the Lord, right? But they had an issue with Moses because the Lord was dealing with Moses, and the Lord was not directly dealing with the rest of the Israelites, even though they were a chosen people. And they had issue with this because they was tired of taking orders from Moses. So a lot of people were covetous. They wanted to be in that leader position, much like a lot of guys that fall out the truth and set up their own camps, right? They want to be in this leadership position, but only they don't have the criteria, the characteristics to really be a leader, right? Not a real one, right? And so it's important for a man not to be covetous, to be after that power seat. You can't, if someone's eyeing up to take your place, this guy is going to be self-serving. He's not going to serve the body, right? So if you put men that are covetous in these positions, they are only going to fuck shit up, basically, you know. And so it's important for them not to be covetous, right? To desire another man's position, and so on and so forth, right? So again, such as fear God, important thing. Men of truth, another important thing. Hating covetousness, right? So they ain't gonna sit there and bad mind somebody else. Or I should be doing that job because I should be in that position because I'm better than he is. Yeah, it's not the mindset you want your people in these positions to have, right? Because it's gonna end up fighting. They're gonna fight and bring shit down, Anyway, so, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds and rulers of 50s and rulers of 10. Right? So they have to be humble men. Just like Moses was. You have to pick out guys that are, that like that to rule over your people, because they're going to deal justly with them. They're not going to serve themselves. It's like a lot of these other camps, man, they really just serve, the leaders, they're really just serving themselves. Right? And they're exploiting the fact that they're these people's leaders, because of their own ego and their own pride. Okay? This is Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 17. Says, "But thine eyes and thy heart are not but for thy covetousness, and for to shed innocent blood, and for oppression, and for violence to do it." Right? And that's the case with a lot of these guys. Their eyes are really aimed at nothing but covetousness. Right? He's about King Josiah, I do believe. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Verse 18 says, yeah. "Therefore thus said the Lord concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, right? So his mind obviously wasn't right. Right, and like I said, it's the same with these other groups that they're their leaders. Right, they have a poor mentality to really play the role or serve the role they covet. You know. This is Matthew 23 verse 2. It says verse 1. They spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Right, they were the leaders of the people at the time. Right, these scribes and Pharisees. Right, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Right, they were ultimately hypocrites. They enjoy being in the seats of power, being admired and revered by the people. You know, they enjoy these things because, yeah, who doesn't enjoy that? But are you serving the role? Are you performing the role as you should be? And the answer in this case, these men weren't doing that. All they were really concerned about is the appearances of being righteous and, you know, being honored. Right? That's what they men wanted. But they weren't really serving the people. Right? Verse 4, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and laid them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for men But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts. Right, we spoke about the room at the top, right, in the wedding, and the chief seats in the synagogue. Right, so they were quite happy to sit them top and be like, yeah, this is where I belong. Yeah, but you ain't doing it right, you know. And greetings in the markets, and to be called of men rabbi, which is master, right? So they like all the reverence, right? They like the accolades that people shower them with, whether justified or not. You know, I say people like to hear that, and that's why a lot of these camp leaders and these other groups, man, they're just egomaniacs, man. They're just egomaniacs. You know, calling themselves elders after a short amount of time, and, you know, high priestess and supreme high priest that, and, you know, bishop this, and, you know, whatever the case may be in it. You know, ultimate supreme general, all of this. So they like the admiration that it brings being at the top. And yeah, it can be nice, but at the end of the day, it can be destructive if you're not of the mindset of being humble. And this is why our elders and apostles, man, always talk about, you know, not to reverence them and worship them in that way. You know, we're just men. We're cogs in the wheel doing this work, all for the sake of the body. You know, we're not here to be worshipped of men. Right? When Yahushua comes and bestows upon us, you know, the crowns that he's going to lay upon the elect's head, right? Then we're going to be exalted. Then we're going to be glorified. But now is not this time. Just as it wasn't time when Yahushua came upon the earth, man, to be exalted in that time. It wasn't time for him to be exalted. This is not our time. You know, but these men are impatient. These men don't really give a shit. These men are not right in the spirit. You know? Your oldie focus should be doing this work, man. Give a fuck about any of the other shit. Just get on and do the work. You know? It's Luke 16:14. It says, and the Pharisees also, who were covetous, he's saying wicked scribes and Pharisees, right? Because they were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. Who? Yahushua. Right? Because Yahushua was getting on them about serving God and mammon. These men were about profit. Right? Self-serving, like I mentioned, right? This is verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. All right. That's just the point I wanted to make. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2. Start from the top. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. Right? A man like this shouldn't be in a leadership role. Right? It is not made for them. They're not a good suit for that. Right? Shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Right? Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, slanders, IUIC and that, they do all kinds of slanders, right? Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, that are just doing the work. That are just speaking the truth. At the day, as uncomfortable as it may be, things that concern like the grape doctrine and all these types of things, it's just the truth at the end of the day. You're going to get in, fucking butthurt because you can't deal with the truth, right? This is traitors, heady. A bunch of traitors out there, right? Heady, high-minded, right? Like I said, ego. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away, right? So they play the part, they lick the part, they say say good things here and there and whatever. So they sound like they're men of the Lord or whatever, but the mentality of the man is not there. It's not there. The spirit of the man is not there. So these are all things that we expect, and these are all the things that we see concerning these other groups, these other camps, and even in men in GMS. Right? We gotta be wary of these fuckers, man. That come in that mentality, in that spirit. Because most likely they're not suited for this truth, man. They shouldn't be around us. This is Sirach chapter 10 verse 9. It says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. Man that's eyeing up all these things, man. Eyeing up all these things for himself. But what can I gain? Where can I be? What place can I exalt myself to? So that's a fucking dangerous dude, man. The one that can't be trusted. Alright? For such a one setteth his own soul to sell. Man, are sellouts. Yeah, we've got some of those out there too. Right? Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. Alright? I think that is all I had here for precepts. So yeah, again, it's important to remain humble, man. No matter what's going on, whether you're being, moved up in the body or, you have positions or offices to fulfill, you have to remain humble, man. That is a key aspect of a man of the Lord, is to be humble, to be meek, right? And it's not demonstrated a whole bunch in these other camps, these other groups out there, right? But like I said, a man that isn't humble is not going to be acknowledged of the Lord, man. He's not going to be exalted. He's going to exalt himself. These men exalted themselves, but they're not going to be acknowledged of the Lord at the end of the day, right? These men are not suited to be in leadership. They're not suited to be rulers, right? We have to come in the mold of Yahushua, in the mold of Moses, in the mold of King David, Ezra, as we spoke earlier. That's the mold we need to come in, right? And you ain't gonna achieve those heights that these men are coveting for by being covetous, by being proud. The Most High, Yahushua will lift you up. He'll raise you up when the time is right, right? And if you deserve it, if it's meant for you. If it's written in your lot, that's what you're going to receive. You'll get it. But, it's only going to be given to the humble, the meek, So, with that, I'm going to say shalom, Lord, when this has been edifying. And I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. So, till next time, I say shalom.